Today I get to hang out with one of my amazing friends, Jennifer, who runs RESG, is here. She's going to tell us what real estate brokers should be doing in a market like this and how they could be wildly successful. And we got some tips for our investors like we always do.
Where did I just go?
Where did you go?
I just went to a music festival in Sacramento for
Yep.
4 days, which was pretty fun. I had a good time. We saw a bunch of new metal bands, which is my gig, you know.
And then what, I'm dumb, so what's new metal?
New metal is like early 2000s, late 90s, rock kind of stuff.
AKA.
So Tool, Limp Bizkit, we went and saw Guns N' Roses, which isn't new metal, but they're like the headliners of the show, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we had a good time.
And we say we, that is?
My husband and I, Aaron
and you.
The other half of the A team.
Other half of the A team. And so what was the best part about that concert?
I think the best part for me was being able to just be with my husband and not have the heaviness of everyday life and being able to just get away with him. It's funny when you separate yourself from your normal environment, how like it's like teenage love again. Oh. It's really weird.
That's disgusting.
I know. I know. But it was fun. And I think I love Limp Bizkit, so that was probably my favorite show of the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
yes.
My friend, business partner, and real estate leader extraordinaire, boss lady, runs sales, runs land development. I want to go through, so you've been in real estate 11 years.
Yeah.
And...
No, 12 now.
Oh, 12.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started as the last crash was kind of finishing itself out.
Yeah, it was bottom market 2011.
Yep.
Everything was very, very, very cheap, a lot cheaper than it is now. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, it wasn't tough because that's all I knew. When I walked into the market, that's what it was. So short sales were normal, bank-owned properties were normal, and it was what it was. I didn't know anything different. I didn't know the new construction before, all the stuff that happened in 2007. I didn't know that. So it was kind of, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't, I didn't know any different, I guess.
So when you look at this market relative to that market, what's your thought process?
The market is what the market is. And so you just do what you need to do to survive in that market. And so it's changing your mindset a little bit about this market's hard because it was so easy. It's not that it's hard. It's just not the same. So just understanding that there's ways to be successful in every single market, and doing those activities will get you there. And
so for RESG, what do you do in regards to agent recruiting, accountability? Walk us through that.
So
besides running everything and being super awesome.
My two main goals as the team leader for RESG is to keep my agents in production and making money.
Yep.
Accountability with them, help and assistance in what they should be doing, guidance in regards to that. And then recruiting new people to our team that need the support and the opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
So those are my two main focuses. And I know that's kind of generalizing that conversation, but it goes a lot deeper than that.
Okay. Then let's go deep for a second.
Okay.
What are the struggles? So the Federal Reserve, interest rates were just 3%. They're almost 8%. We just went through the fastest run up in history.
Yeah.
The transactions have dropped 30%. So the market is tightening.
Yep.
For us, we're like, it's not that bad. Yeah. For everyone else, the sky could be falling.
Yeah.
What are you having to say to help them with mindset, motivation, and understanding the change in the market?
So, I think for mindset, it's a constant conversation. It's an everyday, what do you need today? How can I help you today? What are we doing today? What activities, we set up our weeks on every Monday of what the plan is, what the goals are. And then it's constant just check-ins throughout the week. What are we doing? Are we hitting our goals? How can I help you? What do you need to find success this week? And we are pivoting as needed. So it's, we're focused a lot on expired and canceled right now, and then looking in areas that have land development possibilities. So it's making sure we're adjusting to what's needed to get deals in the door.
Yeah.
It's my goal with every agent on our team is to make sure that they're hitting their goal and they're doing the activities that they need and they're plugged in, because being plugged in is so paramount.
Yes.
To finding success right now. And it's happening. I mean, you just met with Elias, who had his biggest month ever. And he's completely plugged in, and the results are showing up.
Yes.
He's doing the activity, he's being plugged in, and he's staying accountable to himself, which I think is, and probably a little accountable to me too. I think that he has that want to please and to prove himself worthy, but he's doing it, and I appreciate it so much.
I love it.
Yeah.
So if you were to, say just as a general, because, you're, generally speaking, you're talking with a lot of agents, you're also interacting with the brokerage, plus all of the deal flow, plus recruiting. So if you were just to boil it down and say, this is what it takes to be successful in 2023 and in 2024.
Yeah.
This is the 5 things or the 3 things or the 10. What would you tell someone that's what they need to do in order to be successful in a market like this?
You need to lead generate until you find a deal, find an appointment. I mean, every day there has to be some type of goal inside of your lead generation, and you have to be committed to making that activity until you get that result. Real estate isn't, I work my 8 hours and I go home. I work until I make money. And so I think lead generation is top priority, and secondary, only by a little, and maybe even not sometimes, is that follow-up, like the constant follow-up with those leads, because if you're generating but not following up, it doesn't usually work out very well.
It's pretty much useless.
Yeah, pretty much useless. I would say follow-up, and then really checking yourself at the door in the morning, a little bit of, where's my head at? Am I ready to go conquer the world? What do I need as far as habits to be put in place to make myself, because we've talked about this a million times, motivation is so fleeting.
Yes.
I want to say stay motivated, but you need habits, because motivation varies. And if you're relying on your own motivation on a daily basis without those habits and consistencies, you're going to fall down more than you could if you were having those habits in place. So getting your habits and your routines in check, and then just following it and being consistent, and don't give up on yourself. Don't quit. Because I've seen so many times in this industry, people, they just give up right before they're tackling the mountain. And it's just, that's why I like the team environment so much, because this job is, it's not for the faint of heart by any means. So, having the team environment really helps those things, because you have outside accountability, you have outside support, you have outside, motivation and help with habits and help with consistency. And it's, it makes it a lot easier than trying to rely solely on yourself.
One of the things that you mentioned so masterfully over the last year as the market changed with everyone was, and I'm butchering this, so I need you to correct me. It's something to the effect of, like, don't just do the activity, like do it with the intention of getting the result.
Yeah.
Like, go deeper on that with me.
Because I think, we do a lot, especially for our team, we do a lot of, numbers, right? We're going to hit this amount of contacts. We're going to hit this amount of follow-ups, this number of leads. And sometimes I think it gets so focused on just the number, we forget the intentionality. You have the goal of every call is to set an appointment. The goal of every call is to get a referral. The goal of every call is to build a relationship. If we're not going in with those intentions and that mindset that I'm going to get a deal, I'm going to get a lead, I'm going to build a relationship, because that's all this really is building relationships. If it's just, I'm getting my contact, it's not this, you're not getting the same result, and you don't have the same power in your conversation if that's not where your head's at.
100%. See, I knew you would say it better than me. The, with that, like intentionality, right?
Mm-hmm.
What other sayings go along with that? What other color can you add to that? Because I've heard us, we've contacts turn into contracts, but like, so I get on the phone or I go to the open house or I get on social media, I'm going to be intentional. Now what? Now what's the next step?
Well, I think just being intentional in our dialogues and then also just where I'm here to help somebody.
Yes.
And if my goal is to be someone's advocate, to be someone's resource, to help them, I'm not a telemarketer, right? I'm calling because I'm trying to find people that want to build wealth inside of real estate. And it's different when you have that kind of internal conversation versus, oh, I've got to call more people. Like, no, the goal is to build relationships with people so that you can build wealth, we can build wealth inside of real estate and help people. I mean, I think I love real estate so much because there's so much familial need around buying and selling real estate. You're helping someone and you're being part of their journey as a human. And so I really enjoy that part of it, that we get to help people with their needs. And if agents have that mindset when you're talking to people, this becomes a whole heck of a lot easier. Yeah.
Another thing that, we say as a team a lot is, how do you convey to the buyer, the seller, the investor, what's the next indicated action? What's the next logical step? Walk me through that conversation with one of our agents to help, a buyer or a seller. Yeah,
so I will sit down with our agents on a regular basis and go through their database. And it's kind of the conversation of, okay, so the last conversation we had was they were going to get pre-approved with the lender. Well, what was our follow-up to that? Did we say, hey, I'll check in with you on Friday to make sure that you got the application completed, so that you're setting that person up for success in this? Because most people don't buy and sell real estate every day like we do. So they don't know. And so it's our job to kind of walk them through the process and be there to handhold and say, here's the next indicated action. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's the level of service I'm going to provide to you.
Yes.
By setting them up with that next, this is my next conversation with you. This is my next step. This is my promise to you of what I'm going to do. And then people feel very cared for.
Yes.
And it's makes the process so much smoother. And you're creating trust and care in those conversations, which really, it plays out a lot better for agents on the long run, when you are having those conversations and setting your client up for success so that they can move forward in the process.
I think a big mistake that agents make is they start it and then they stop it. They start it and they stop it, both on the lead gen and when the client's like even under contract, is they get the contract and then they ghost. When the reality is you get that contract, and like you were saying, you now have an opportunity to demonstrate your worth, your customer service, your connection, your conviction, your communication. Yeah. And so at every point during follow-up, prior to contract and post-contract, you should always be closing for the next appointment. Yeah. You should be telling them the next step. Yep. And then you should be getting something to them to close that feedback and that loop gap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over and over and over again.
It never stops.
Yes.
Even after the contract is closed. Now they're my client forever, as far as I'm concerned. And so I'm still following up with them, checking in. How was the move-in? There's so much that you can do to convey care throughout the entire process, from the moment you start talking to the person until you never stop talking to them again. We want to be able to have that conversation forever, and continue to be their realtor of choice.
I love it. I love it. So brand new agent, they're getting into the business.
Yes.
What do you tell them?
You want the soft version or the hard version?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Give me the soft version first and the hard version second.
Soft version this is an amazing opportunity to get into real estate right now. Yeah. Like I said, when I started in 2011, the market was hard. even though I didn't know any different. And so I got my, kind of initiation into real estate in hard real estate. And so when the market shifts and becomes easy real estate again, then I'm a warrior.
Yes.
So warriors are built during hard times. So coming into the industry during this, where the market share is short or smaller, you're going to become a warrior. You're going to hone your skills. You're going to sharpen that blade. And it's going to be, when interest rates come down, because they will, you'll slay.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, now give me the hard version.
Okay, this is really freaking hard job. And it's going to be a hustle and a grind for 2 to 5 years. And you're going to work 80 hours a week, and you're going to push and struggle, and it's going to be difficult. But the freedom that you get with real estate as a real estate agent is unlike anything else. My kids just started elementary school, and my times had to shift because I wanted to take my kids to school every day, and I could just do that.
Yeah.
And where, my sister and my mom work in corporate, you have to be at a place at a certain time every day, regardless of who you are, your personal life in any way, shape, or form. That corporate doesn't care. But the opportunity here is you get to have flexibility, you get to have opportunity, but with that, knowing you're going to grind for 5 years, but that's okay. It's worth it in the end.
So an experienced agent, their business is down right now.
Yeah.
Okay. The Fed just beat them up.
Yes.
Okay. What do we tell the experienced agent in today's market?
You have to do more, and you need more. You're going to have to leverage. You're going to need help. And if you keep trying to do the same things you were doing before and expecting the same results, we all know what that means. The things you were doing a year and a half ago are not going to yield you the same business that they yielded you a year and a half ago. So we have to either come together, find a way to utilize the leverage we have, utilize as a resource we have, or you have to go get those things yourself, one or the other. And if you want to find success in today's market, the amount of effort you have to put in is just significantly more than it has been in the last almost decade.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said. What extra steps this is the tip, the hack. What extra steps do agents need to go through right now to keep their transactions together? Because when interest rates are high and, we've got wars in 2 places, and, if you go down the TikTok rabbit hole,
I do that.
it can scare you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which could scare your buyer, your seller, your investor right out of the transaction.
Yeah.
So what do we do to prevent that today?
There has to be so much more conversation from start to finish. There's no more set it and forget it in real estate. I have to take you by the hand, almost like a side hug, walk you down the path. And the expectation of the volatility for the client, for the other person on the other side of the transaction, the other agent, is so high that the over communication is it's a necessity. You can't not do it. And you have to be willing to have hard conversations. You can't avoid the elephant in the room.
Yes.
You have to address things as quickly as humanly possible. In real estate, problems just get bigger and bigger and bigger the longer they sit there.
Yes.
So you have to address whatever issue has popped up so quickly. We've said before, it's a firefighter. We're the firefighters. And so you can't let that ember burn. It has to be addressed immediately. And just, if you're setting, like we just talked about, if you're setting up the next conversation, the next step in the transaction, if you're teeing those up properly, you avoid a lot of that problems, like a ton of it, if you're on top of it.
So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing some agents are having their best year ever.
Yep.
When transactions are down 30 to 40%. Why is that happening?
I think a lot of agents, because they're not sure what to do. They don't know what to do. You know, the transactions are down. I didn't have to work before. Now all of a sudden I have to work. What's that?
What is that four-letter word you speak of?
You know, and I think they're just burying their heads in the sand. You know, the ostrich syndrome.
Yeah.
They're avoiding what they know they need to do something. They just don't know what to do. And so they're just pretending like it's not there. The agents that are finding, you know, having their best years ever, finding super success in this, you know, transaction limited market, is because they're doing the activity.
Yeah.
And they're doing it consistently, and they're doing as much as they need, right? There's no cap. It's not like they're saying, I put in my 8 hours, I'm going home.
Yeah.
They're doing whatever it needs to be done to get the deal, get the lead, get the next whatever. There's no stopping, which is pretty cool.
It's beautiful because you see these people who have found this fire in themselves, and it's just shining like this crazy light in these types of market, and they're slaying it because of that.
It's even, they stand out even more because the crowd, the rest of the agents that aren't doing anything, are so stepped away that the ones that are stepping up stand out even more.
Yes. Amateur hour is gone.
Yeah.
So if you've decided you didn't want to be the professional is sticking out, like you said, like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
They're doing the business, they're putting in the work, they're getting the deals. Yeah. And the people who aren't willing to do that are literally hiding like ostriches, you said, in the background. So what would you say right now is the biggest opportunity for real estate agents?
Biggest opportunity for real estate agents is to hone your skills, take action, and you'll get if you are work enough, you will get business. You will find success. It is not impossible to have your best year ever. It is completely impossible. So your opportunity is there. You just have to get up and take it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get up and take it. If you don't, you're back under the rug.
So you're also a real estate investor.
Yeah.
What do you see as the opportunities for investors in this market?
I think there's a huge opportunity for investors in this market. Being the interest rates what they are, there's so much more flexibility and opportunity for negotiations. The last 4 years have been kind of take it or leave it buyer. And now that's not the case, which is really exciting for investors because I love the deal, like getting the deal. And so getting to have, get those conversations going again is really exciting for me anyways. But the opportunities for investors, I do think you've got a limited window.
Yep.
But for
how long do we got?
I think we're probably spring 2024. We might not have any more deals depending on the rates go.
Yeah.
But I think, during the winter, especially in Washington, there's always more deals because it's cold and rainy and wet. So I think, during the winter months and before we hit peak season next year, you've got a good opportunity to get some deals going.
So we're going to play a game here. I like to do this with everyone. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to repeat it.
Okay.
What advice would you give your younger self?
The advice I would give my younger self is get into this industry sooner. Invest as soon as humanly possible. Compound interest blows my mind. And just don't underestimate your opportunities and yourself.
Oh, amen, sister.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you almost make me misty there. What advice would you give me? Same thing. What advice do we just need to give to any broker right now?
The advice that I would give to any broker right now is plug in, find support in whatever that looks like. And you're going to have to work your butt off and just know that and be okay with it and commit to yourself and commit to your goals. And even if you don't, because we like to set BHAG goals, big hairy goals. And even if we don't hit those big hairy goals, you're going to get a lot farther having that goal with the intentionality of hitting it than if you didn't. Set goals, commit, plug in.
Take the action.
Take the action.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Lastly, what advice would you give to real estate investors?
I think buy anything right now, honestly. Buy anything and everything you can get your hands on. I know interest rates are scary. I know, there's all sorts of different ways to evaluate property, but property is so limited and there's only so much of it, and prices are just going up in our area. Rents are just going up in our area. So even if it's not a fantastic deal today, in 10 years from now, you'll look like a genius.
Thank you. Thanks for watching today. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hey, YouTube recommended you watch this video right here.